to IPER's Faculty Insight, and in today's episode, we are actually going to discuss something that is extremely important, extremely relevant, and very much in need for the MBA graduates. Before I introduce you to the entire panel over here, let me give you a small brief about why today's topic is extremely important. Now, last year in 2025, India's skill report revealed a very important thing. They said that among all the degrees, among all the graduate and postgraduate degrees, MBA still is the most demanded one, and MBA is perhaps where the most number and most percentage of employability still reside. Yet, what we are seeing is that every year, lakhs and lakhs of students they complete their MBA, but many of them they are unable to have a very successful career when it comes to their their ultimate dream destination or their ultimate dream kind of job. So we would like to discuss today that what truly makes an MBA employable in 2026 and beyond, the degree, the skills, or the attitude. Today, I'm fortunate to be sitting in front of an extremely well read, well knowledgeable, and experienced panel over here. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce them to you all. On my right, we have Professor Bhupendra Dubey, who's having somewhere around 25 plus years of experience of academics and industry. Next to him is a very young professor over here. We have Professor Prashant Verma, who is having a mix of academic and corporate experience of 10 plus years. Next to Mr. Prashant, we have Dr. Aparnaa Nene. In total, she is having 21 plus years of corporate and industry experience. Next, we have Professor Inderpreet Bhogal, sir, who is again having 23 plus years of experience when it comes to his overall domain knowledge. On my left, we have Professor Vikas Agrawal, sir. In total, he is having somewhere around 38 years of experience of corporate and academia. Next, we have Dr. Sneha Shukla. She is having 17 years of experience of again corporate and industry experience. And we have Professor Sameer Agarwal sir over here, who's having again 26 years of experience when it comes to industry and academia. The reason why in introducing everyone, I was very specifically telling you all about their industry and academic experience is I believe that only those individuals who are having the knowledge of both these domains, they can do justice to this particular thing. And to the audience who are listening to this, if you were noting it down, and you should note it down, at right now at this table, we are having an experience of 160 plus years overall. So we would like to start now our conversation with this, and who better to have the first say than the most experienced one of all of us, Professor Vikas Agrawal sir over here. So Vikas sir, there is one thing that is there. In the initial I just said that MBA are the one who are most sought after, they are the most employable one. But what we are seeing is that MBA per se is not enough. The degree itself is not enough. So what do you think, sir? What is the current situation? Is degree enough, or what exactly it is? Please, your opinion.
Thanks. Very apt question and very relevant question. It has been for last 20, 30 years actually. And I say that foundation is more important than the degree. Because MBA is a very unique course. I call it jack of all trades, master of one, which we call specialization. So I have given a little twist to it. A BCom student learns a journey from accounting to financial management, economics to business economics. Apart from this, all our subjects are not taught anywhere. We learn marketing, our students, and we teach them market research, branding. We teach them operations. They learn supply chain management, logistics, etc. We teach them HR. They learn organization behavior, talent acquisition, and other things. Business strategy and competitive analysis they learn. These subjects are not available anywhere else as a course. The story doesn't end here. Then we move to skills. Communication skills, teamwork, and problem solving, they learn over here and develop the leadership skills, which is very, very important to become a successful manager in future. And how we deliver? We deliver through internships. They get industry experience, project management, through case studies, the real life stories, the real life cases we help them go through. We also give them group projects through which they learn. And all this is the core foundation of management.
Thank you so much, sir. And while in your discussion, you raised two very important things, sir. One is specialization. I believe that is something that's the number one question that is there in the mind of any young MBA student. That which kind of specialization should I have, and which kind of specialization should I master so that I can have a successful career. Um, Prashant sir, you are a young professor, but you have worked with corporate in both the terms, in terms of industry and in terms of entrepreneurship as well. What do you think, sir, that when it comes to degree itself, how is specialization extremely important, or does it outweigh certain skills or other things? What is your opinion on that?
So earlier, companies used to hire very general managers. If I talk about 20 years back when MBA degree was there, right? So company used to hire the general or generic managers. But in current era, when we are talking about Industry 5.0, companies are very particular about the specialization and the specialized manager they want to hire. If I talk about, let's talk about the marketing person. An MBA graduates who is specialized in marketing should know how to conduct a market research, how to conduct the market data, or how to analyze those marketing data for their marketing campaign. So right now, these industries are looking for specialized manager. So I think the specialization in your MBA will act as a compass for your career growth. The specialization and the skills goes both way, which means not only specialization, the right skills with the right specialization will lead you the immense opportunity for your career success.
All right, sir. We will come back to the skill domain in a very in-depth manner, so don't worry about that. We are talking very good kind of things, but there is one gray area as well. I gave you one report about Skill India, where they are talking about that yes, MBAs are the most employable ones, but there is one small gray area as well, that for the past many years what we are seeing and listening from various facets is that only a very small fraction, and I would say somewhere around 60 or 70% only this particular amount of students are actually employable. Yes. So I believe we have the expert, Professor Bhogal is here. You are into HR, you are into training, and you have done all these things. What do you think, sir? Where is the gap, and what kind of things are there missing when it comes to degree and when it comes to the requirement from the industry side? Please.
Thank you, sir. I have one narrative that I would like to share with you. We are, everyone is tech savvy, and we all are using laptops. We all are using computer systems. Someone might be using HP, someone might be using Dell, someone might be using Macintosh, and they have different configuration in terms of hardware. They have different processors. They have different storage. However, there is one thing which is common in all the computer system, and that is the operating system. It's through the operating system we communicate with the hardware. We communicate with the computer. We do our daily routine work, and that's the way we communicate with the computer. Now, when we talk about technical skills, yes, it is now, I would say, easily available through online resources. Students are enrolling for the MBA degrees. They are going for experiential learning, case-based learning. There is one gap which the companies have identified. 70%, please quote this number, 70% of the organization are looking for students with stronger communication skills. And that communication skills becomes the operating system for the individual. It's the way we communicate. That becomes your operating system. However, only 45 to 50%, as you rightly said, sir, only 45 to 50% of the this class is employable, only because they are not able to express their ideas. Idea generation, please, might be panel members, respected panel members, that idea generation is not a problem. But deliverance of that idea becomes a major concern. Communication skills includes three major things: how emotionally stable you are, how structured your expressions are, and how good is your vocabulary. These three things forms the basis of your communication skills. And even one of them is missing, that hampers the way you wish to communicate.
So, Bhogal sir, perhaps what you are trying to say is that rather than degree, even the world today, right now, they are seeking skills. That is
Skills. Technical skills,
Okay.
yes, technical skills happens to be 15% of the entire 100% population. And communication skills happens to be the 85%.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
what my.
I'll get back to you on
Yes.
this particular thing, sir.
Yes.
When it comes to skills, because
Yes.
you and Prashant sir, both of you have talked about skills, and that is our agenda point number 2 actually, where we would discuss. Since we are talking about the foundation in which even Vikas sir has said that MBA as a degree, that is what we need to understand. That since our topic is that what makes you employable in this particular era, this year and perhaps the next decade itself. So I would like to invite the panel members that what is your any of you can raise your points that when it comes to degree, what do you think is the importance and how we are looking at it?
Sir, degree is very important because by degree only you get the opportunity. If you see any ad, they are asking you should have a minimum MBA qualification. So degree is very important. If you don't have a degree, you cannot apply for that post. So degree is very important. By that you are getting the opportunity to enter in the corporate world. If degree is not there, you cannot enter. Skill is a later part on, because once you get entry, initially you are having an MBA degree, you can give the interview, then you will be selected based on a skill. That is different issue, but initially you require
So
a
I
degree.
believe we have actually taken the word very correctly, that foundation.
Yeah.
That is the basic eligibility degree. Anyone else?
I would continue with your point only, the way you were commenting on that, the India Skill Report 2026. It says that, the overall employability of India is around 56%. And that report only says the MBA graduates still have that 73% of an employability rate, which clearly indicates that MBA as a degree still is a very, kind of a gatekeeper. Until unless you do not have a degree, you would not get the entry. So that are the basic requirements.
Okay.
What we are talking about, the soft skills and other things, that would be more like an add-on to it. But basic concepts still are very important. Categorically, when we talk about areas like finance and HR, they cannot go beyond book. They have to, the base has to be the book. So degree actually is very important. When
There
it
are
comes
certain
to
things which go by the book.
That has to go by the
Correct.
book, and
Correct.
that is why that degree is very important to at least it to the entry point. And then we can obviously talk about upskilling, reskilling,
Yes.
or soft skilling, what not to do.
Okay.
But degree still is going to be very important now and for the coming period.
Okay. Okay. So thinking about what we have discussed right now, when it comes to degree, we can very safely say that yes, it is going to be the passport for you as of right now. But what will make you sustain and what will make you grow, I believe we all will be entering into that domain right now, because then now we are going to talk about our second element of our topic, and that is skills. And I'm seeing Bhogal sir and Prashant sir smiling because this is something that they were talking about. But I would ask Samir sir. Sir, you are there. You were there in the corporate world, and you have worked in HR field and organization also. What do you think, sir, when it comes to skill set for an MBA fresher, for an MBA student? What are the core areas that you feel that yes, this is a gap that is there right now? Please.
Thank you, Rahul sir. Basically, the first point that comes down as a gap area is the corporate culture. That is adoption of corporate culture. whenever a fresh graduate or an MBA graduate, when they were going from campus to a company, it becomes difficult for them to adopt to the day-to-day working culture. First comes down the dynamics, that is the industry dynamics and the work hierarchy and the corporate hierarchy that you are having. They are not able to adopt to them. Then second comes down the corporate culture, the working hours. Reason being, in a college they might be having 3 or 4 hours of job. But whenever it is being said, whenever you are entering a corporate, you are having incoming time, you cannot have an outgoing time. So that comes down to the second lacking point, challenge that pupils are facing. Third point, that is having the theoretical and the practical knowledge. Whatever things students are learning, mostly colleges are having limited to only practical, theoretical field itself. They are not guiding them up ki what practical exposures can be. As pointed out by Inderpreet sir also, the fourth challenge that comes down is the communication. They are not able to communicate in which way they have to communicate, what can be a structured report will be there, what kind of emails will be there. And the last point according to me is unrealistic expectations that they are having. Whenever an MBA graduated, they are having expectation that they will be having an AC cabin, a peon will be coming down to serve them an tea and coffee. But in realistic,
I believe that would be a part of an attitude we are talking, which we will talk later on.
so that's what the challenges according to me are.
Now, the beautiful point about this is, sir, that since we were talking about the first pillar, we jumped on to the second pillar because everything is intermingled. Obviously, everything is there. Now, we are talking about the skills part, so we are actually talking about the attitude part as well. But that's great. Actually, this is what is there. It's a web which is intermingled. So, you were to talk.
That's what basically that's about according to me. These are the 5 problems that MBA or a graduate will always happen.
Okay. Okay. All right, sir. Thank you. Since you talked about what Bhogal sir was talking about communication, and sir, since you were talking about sales, and especially when it comes to communication and all, so what we are seeing in for the past couple of years, we are seeing this that every organization, when it comes to hiring, specifically during the interview part, where they throw certain questions and certain challenges in front of students, they are giving good points when it comes to interpersonal skills and teamwork or some sort of other skills that is there, which is related in the domain of communication itself. My question, sir, and this is a very kind of concerning question also. Why do you think that there is a problem of communication when it comes to young freshers, despite they had a very good kind of formal education up until now? And how these students can actually overcome this particular issue? If you can talk about that, sir, please.
Bhupendra sir pointed out that the degrees are the gate openers. I completely agree with him. However, I'd like to add something in this. Yes, the degrees are the gate openers. However, when once you enter into a certain room, and if you have to remain in that certain room, you have to move up the ladder. You have to generate and you have to develop skills. And the first and the foremost, as I said, irrespective of the sectors, irrespective of the industry, the first and foremost skill that any employer, any industry, any organization seek for is the communication skills. That's quite obvious. I was just doing a research on the similar platform wherein when we hear this word sustainability, we often relate it to 3 words. One is E, second one is S, and the third one is G. Environment, social, and governance. And we relate that to leaders, the decision makers, not to an MBA graduate. Now, with this particular degree, what's happening is, as you rightly said, sir, that they are well equipped. However, they are well equipped with only the what part of the education. The what part. What is sustainability? They are going to answer it. Now, the second question you ask, why? They keep mum. Why do you need sustainability? That's where they keep mum. One thing that I have observed past so many years is that we have education, we have formal education, we have case-based learning. However, the one thing that is missing is the mindset. They're not able to develop that proper mindset, and only because they don't have a mindset, they just have a bookish knowledge of what sustainability is, what sustainable practices are, what is communication skills, what is adaptability. But when I ask about why, that mindset is missing. And we should have a curricula designed in a manner that this mindset question, this obstacle is answered. And when the mindset is developed in an MBA student, that of a leader, I don't think that employability is going to be a problem.
Okay.
The next comes in is the third part that we are going to discuss, that is the attitude, that is
Because that's the reason why I was smiling, that sir has said about the same thing. You have also talked about the same thing. So it just validates that we are going on the right track.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So we need to develop a mindset.
Yeah.
In this.
Okay. So apart from you, since Prashant sir, you also talked about skills when it comes to that, and it is going to be absolutely incomplete if in this discussion we don't talk about AI and data, because that is what is there in today's world. The corporate, they are seeking individuals who don't just perform basic work that is there required, but they should be somebody who are very well versed when it comes to data and handling the AI tools and everything. So, what is your say on this particular thing?
Yes, rightly said. If I talk about, or if any manager who is equipped with data, but what to do with that data? In industry, everyone has a data, but no one knows what to do. So here, this AI or these AI tools come in the role. When any manager or any student who is equipped with this data handling part, which means he should know that how to present that data, how to analyze that data, and through these, using these AI tools, these could be a very much harder supporting factor to succeed in your career. In this industry, most of the time, people or the managers or the upper management have a data of long back ago, but they don't know what to do with that. So I think in this current scenario, when AI is erupting, AI is evolving, so the manager should have that data handling efficiency with the use of proper AI tool in his career. And to present with that, I think the career will be here the skyrocket and with the shining colors.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Any other panel member would like to talk about skill set per se, so that we can move now to the next part?
So I would
Please,
like
ma'am.
to add something to it. We often talk about skills, but the real question today is, are the skills that we or our students are acquiring are making them industry ready or just academically sound? Okay. There are three problems that we often, all of us have discussed about it. The problem lies here is, first of all, they are not able to apply the theoretical knowledge into the practical world. The transition from college to corporate is becoming difficult for them because of the things. For example, Bhogal sir said communication skills. They are important, but communication skills, these students, sometimes they take it as the fluency. It is not the fluency that always just matter in the communication. It is the structured communication that is important. Now, what is structured communication? If we talk about, it is about the content, it is about the confidence, and it is about the clarity that they want to communicate. The simplest of the things can be communicated in the simplest manner and taken it as in the simplest, and it works wonders. So that is what is there. And as Prashant sir rightly said, digital. Every domain in the corporate world is using digital platform. So that is also there. So skill sets should not be just to make our students academically sound, but yes, the skill sets should make them industry ready. That is what I want to contribute here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That absolutely sums up this particular point that we were talking about. That after degree, when you enter, yes, your skill set will definitely matter. But taking the word from what Inderpreet sir have just said, ultimately, I believe it is going to be the game of mindset. So now let's talk about the third element, which is perhaps most used and couple of times most misunderstood word that is there, and that is attitude. That is there. That is, I believe, the defining kind of thing, because that's the third element. So, Sneha ma'am, since you are there, your expertise is in HR, and you are working very closely when it comes to corporate world and student employment. My absolute simple and a very clear question actually is going to be what the institutions they can do, they should do to work on this attitude if they can, and then next the soft skills, which is I believe my previous learned panel members have said that this is the gray area that we should work on. Please, ma'am.
I believe what management institution need to build today is a modern T-shaped program, which basically considers of the vertical area, which we all were talking about, जहाँ पे deep knowledge is very important. Prashant sir was talking about AI knowledge. I believe all the good institutions around the globe work on this. We work on the educating our students to get to a good exposure on the different platforms and all. Then we talked about industry exposure. Again, the majority of the good institution will give the industry exposure to these students. And obviously, industry ready application, the upskilling programs, we have multiple platforms. The institute have tie-up with the good, the online platforms, learning platforms. So this we are doing. Where we lack is the horizontal part, wherein we need to work on the learning agility wala part, which he was talking about, Inderpreet sir was talking about, the learning mindset hona is important there. So one thing which you need to work upon, use of a platform, you make them sure that you know how to use it. But again, we do not have the opportunity to use those particular platforms again and again. That is why the student or any other employee will always have that fear of using whether I would be able to or not. Again, the second point is we are not making them ready to having a learning exposure when it is mandatory to go out into the internship. The student will go, will perform, but the moment it comes to the final opportunities for them, they have their own restriction. We're not working on that particular part, making them realistic about the opportunities which you have at the entry level. So I believe emotional intelligence is a part wherein we need to work, wherein they understand that there are a mix of people whom you have to work around, and you need to give respect to each other's point of view. So I believe learning agility is the one part, and emotional intelligence is the one part wherein the institute now have to deep down. Okay. So that is what my summation is.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I believe you can second me on this particular thing, ma'am, that the corporate world, they are now actually looking for more of a their culture fit kind of individual.
Exactly, and that is why the compatibility test is more important nowadays.
Okay.
Personality assessment is more important. You might be very good at the question answers round, interviews round, conceptually very sound, but if you fail that personality assessment, you're not going to be a part of their workforce. It is very important that you're culturally fit. You have that emotional intelligence to be fit into their career pipeline.
Okay. I would just like to take this particular word, and we have Aparnaa ma'am over here. She is an expert when it comes to emotional intelligence, and it's one of our favorite domain actually. Ma'am, what do you think that can this be built upon, and how is this? I mean, if you can share a message to the viewers who are watching, that why is this not just a very fancy term, but this is something that is going to make their life, their employability extremely important when it comes to their corporate career. Please, ma'am.
Yes. So I strongly believe that these are the most critical areas. When it comes to the adaptability part, as Madam also said, most of the corporates, they are making their employees work on different roles. They shift, they, make the roles shift in the organization. And if the person is not ready to adapt to the change, they will not make themselves ready for the higher roles. So one of the things that the MBA graduates need to learn is the adaptability. Employers put their employees in number of roles. They give them different projects. They make them work with different diverse teams. So emotional intelligence also comes into the picture. You are able to work with cross-functional teams. You should. That is, these things are very much required nowadays for a MBA graduate to become employable, to grow in their careers, and put their careers also to the higher streams. and to change. And there are a number of shifts into career changes are also happening in each a number of companies. They are allowing them to go to different functional areas also. So for that reason, adaptability is very important. And these things comes, adaptability, emotional intelligence comes only with the right attitude. There is a very famous saying, your attitude decides your altitude and not the aptitude. Yes, your attitude. So that saying I always remember. I think it is from Ziegler sir, and he has rightly said this, and I truly believe in this. If the attitude is correct, your altitude you will be, yes, very high. So students in the corporate world, this is very much required, and all the business schools are actually helping their students, to adapt to these new terms: emotional intelligence, attitude, adaptability, and all this. So the future lies with the students, the corporate world, the employees with the right kind of attitude.
Okay, thank you.
Just one point I'm
Please.
adding. Apart from the attitude, and obviously you talk about adaptability, ownership is also very
Very
important.
important.
What you're doing, you own it. That is the one point I believe we need to impart into the student nowadays. So that is the
Again, it reminded me of a point: humility. It is ultimately required. Our students nowadays, humbleness, yes. Nowadays
Yes.
they come with the attitude, we know everything. No, there is a lot of requirement for them to unlearn, learn, and relearn. So these few corrections, not corrections, add-ons in the personality will make them employable in the coming days. And good luck to all the future managers and
Great point,
employees.
ma'am.
And so the attitude is also very important, because once any person got the degree, then he gets selected for the interview, he got a call, then at the time of interview, his attitude is judged. His positive attitude is very important, because they try to ask this question, they will try to analyze how your thinking pattern is going on. You are having a positive attitude towards your life or negative attitude in your life. Because what happened, attitude is the one thing which cannot be changed later on, and it takes years to form the positive attitude, which is very important. So attitude plays a very important role in selection of a candidate, selection of whether you are having a degree, skill, but your attitude is negative, then it is very difficult to be selected in the interview process.
Since we were talking quite good number of time about attitude and how it shapes everything, I would like to flip this entire conversation to a very different level. Vikas sir, you might be the perfect person to answer this thing. We talked about degree. That is the base requirement. That is absolutely necessity. So let's not talk about that. It is there. Now we have two things. We have skill set, and on the other hand, we have attitude. Do you think that a very good, strong, positive attitude will outweigh skill set? What do you think about that?
Very interesting question. Uh, I'll say, attitude is the game changer when it comes to hiring. And बहुत सारे panelists ने बड़ी अच्छी बातें बोली हैं. There are few overlappings. I also might give some overlappings. But I'll give you one very practical example to understand what is, attitude. Attitude I always take as positive. I never take attitude as negative. There's the small differentiation I have with others. You look into your own students. Top 5% have a different attitude. That speaks actually everything. But since we are in a panel, let's elaborate it a little more. I'm sure you all understand what I mean by top 5% have what kind of attitude. First is cultural fit, as people are talking. A candidate's attitude often determines whether he will be culturally fit into an organization. He is ready for that actually, right? Adaptability, as you said, a positive attitude shows willingness to learn. This word was also, and he is ready to grow with the organization. When I used to hire in the capacity of recruiter, which I have done for good 25-30 years, the first thing I have seen is that, can this person go up to 3 promotions with me? It's not immediate. I'm hiring somebody not to fire him.
So it's a long-term game that you
Correct. So here the attitude plays a very, very strong role while checking a person. Skills can be developed. So there is a small this thing with you. But attitude is harder to get. But definitely there is a balance between attitude and skills. Both have to go hand in hand. You cannot just live your life with attitudes alone or skills alone, because you have the skills but you can't communicate, you can't tell, you can't express, then it's useless. Well, you quoted Zig Ziglar, and I also have one line of mine which I would like you to listen. It's not your position but disposition that determines success.
Amazing.
It's not your position but disposition that determines success, and disposition is nothing but attitude. Thanks.
Wonderful. I believe that is the ultimate tagline of this particular entire discussion that we were having. So one very beautiful thing actually happened, since now we are almost at the verge of conclusion of this panel discussion. We all have witnessed one very good thing actually. We were skeptical while taking this particular topic, that is it good or not? Is it justifiable or not? Will it add certain value to the viewers or not? But since the moment that we started, when we talked about degree, we were talking about skills. When we were talking about skills, we were talking about attitude. When we were talking about attitude, we didn't left the degree as well. So I believe at the end, the conclusion is that we don't have to pick one, and we should not pick one, to be very honest. Degree will give us the entry. Skills will ensure that we perform, and our attitude will, I guess, determine how long and how far we will grow. That is the ultimate crux of this particular entire discussion. To all the viewers who are watching this, very proudly I would like to tell that in IPER, we have a capsule that is known as PEPS, Placement, Eligibility and Preparation Session. We all faculty members are of that particular module itself, where we ensure that our students, our MBA students, are corporate ready. They are fit for that. And this small today's faculty insight was just a part of that discussion that we always actually have. This is just a formal kind of thing that we did today. So before I wrap up, I would like to sincerely thank each panel member for their time, their contribution, and for this amazing kind of conversation that we had. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for inviting us.
Thank you so much.